because man is choosing logic over magic.
Worlds of magic and logic must exist side by side, not destroy each other.
I will not concede to heat by this modern world. I have weapons you would not dare use.
We must inspire a quest with its sacred mission to steal the Red Crown of Omadon. We will enlist the aid of allies who share our beliefs. Mortals, enchanted folk, beasts, dragons.
Go forth, and death be thy destination!
Now that was a fearsome intro, wasn't it, my fellow agents? And welcome back, is I, X7, your agent of Animated Awesome, and your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today we are looking at 1982's The Flight of Dragons, another Rankin Bass production, much like The Last Unicorn and The Hobbit and their Return of the King adaptation. That's the word I wanted to say, was adaptation. But before we get into it, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this movie. If you've seen it, did you like it? Somehow I didn't see it until the mid-'80s, which is odd, for reasons I'll elaborate upon later. But having said all that, let's get on with the show. Right away, we are introduced to both Gorbash the Dragon and the Green Wizard Carolinus. And then we get the narration, the waning age of enchantment. I have expressed my distaste for movies such as this. Well, the premise more than the movies, because I believe The Last Unicorn was set the same time frame, where magic is waning and logic is taking place. I've modified that slightly because of what Carolinus says in this movie. So, a world of magic or a world of science. I don't understand why it always has to be one or the other. There's magic. There's still magic everywhere. It's just people don't look for it because they think having a device in their pocket is science. Flight of Dragons, Rankin Bass, 1982. Produced by and directed by, of course, Arthur Rankin Jr. and Charles Bass. So this movie was released in the United States on August 20th, 1982. It was a television movie. This is the Blu-ray version of it, which is got the the widescreen version and the full screen version in standard definition, widescreen and in high definition, so you can tell which one I use. It's also got subtitles. I don't know who sang the song here. It's got a great cast. It's pretty good. It looks like Don McLean. Was it that Don McLean? Let me take a peek here. American Pie Don McLean. So that's him singing. It's all right. Runs 92 minutes. I think that's about right. Maybe 92 or 96, depending. It was released September of 83 in the United Kingdom. It was broadcast on television in two parts when I saw it. So I came home for lunch or something, and my brother was watching it. I was like, wait, I came home from my day job at the time. Anyway, I recognized the names because those came from Gordon R. Dixon's The Dragon and the George from 1976. Peter Dickinson, who co-wrote the screenplay, based his novel, The Flight of Dragons, on Gordon R. Dixon's characters. So that's why they're a bunch of similar and yet different, they're similar names, same names, different ways they go about it. So here we have a swan with some fairies, and they get sucked under because these yokels are polluting it. These yokels who look like they're kind of elven themselves or halflings. Carolinus tries to throw a spell at him. They laugh at him and throw rocks. That's his daughter, the Princess Melisande, his adopted daughter. We know where this is going. And there is Smeargle, who is the uncle to Gorbash. And interestingly, he's sending letters via owl. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I'm not saying what's her name stole the idea, because I'm sure sending letters via birds is nothing new. Passenger pigeons. But, owls is just something interesting. That is the Blue Wizard. Okay, Carolinus is voiced by Colonel Sherman T. Potter himself, Harry Morgan. Don Messick as Lao Tezal, the Golden Wizard, and this is Bob McFadden as both Gorbash and Solarius, and was obviously later Sir Orin Neville Smythe. But this is Solarius, the Blue Wizard, with his pink dragon. The Lao Tezal is got, of course, the green Asian dragon. And then Omadon, the Red Wizard, is voiced by Thulsa Doom himself, James Earl Jones, with that magnificent voice. He did some other movie about stars, right? Stars and Wars, something. Anyway, there he is, and that's his dragon, Briog, who probably was voiced by, well, let's say Don Messick, wouldn't surprise me. And let's see, Melisande is voiced by Alexandra Stoddard, who doesn't have a link to her credit. Then we already know who Don Messick is because he was Bandit in Dr. Quest. I'm looking to see what Bob McFadden has done. TV movies, Flight of Dragons. He was the Lynx O and Snarf, Thundercats, Astronut, Linus the Lionhearted, Lovable, Truly, Coneheads, Journey to the Bottom of he was the Invader in Journey to the Bottom of the Sea. Gee, many Christmas, he's done a lot of voices. Yeah, he did a lot for Thundercats. Yep. Okay, so that's Bob McFadden. All right, continuing. So Carolinus has planned to make an enclave or a protective dome where the magic can still exist, so it can inspire mankind. The mists of invisibility. And this is what I like. There must always be magic to inspire him to, when he sees birds fly. How do you do that? What magic makes them lift up and sustains them? Television, radio. So I like that. Yeah, there must always be magic to inspire science and man, or man to get that. But Omadon's like, nope, I'm not doing it. He has no idea. 1982, some 40 years ago, what's going to happen. Distorted science with an atomic bomb. There he is on Briog, who in the book, the dragon, the George, is Gorbash's enemy. And antiquity is mentioned here, but so only he can get the quest going to steal the red crown of Omadon, as we saw. And turn to antiquity. And then they give him some gifts here, the shield of Saturn and the flute of healing sleep. I find it useful. Gorbash is all excited because he's going to see battle. And he goes to Antiquity, and Antiquity is voiced by Paul Frees, Boris Badenoff himself, doing a face turn here. You don't hear Boris's voice because that's how good Paul Frees was. Anyway, search the future. And the great Peter who taught the dragons to speak. I know, a limpid pool of time when I see him. So there's a lot of funny lines in here. And again, the cast is great. And there we find Peter, who looks like a dork with a bow tie. Peter is voiced by the late John Ritter, Jack Tripper of Three's Company and many other roles and fun things. The cast all takes this. I mean, I don't know how much they got paid, but they all took it seriously. You don't hear like a lifeless voice here. The pawnbroker there is Larry Storch, who we just saw yesterday as Spencer of the Ghostbusters. I think he was in F Troop, playing somebody very similar to Spencer. He's trying to raise some money to get his game played, which is essentially Dungeons and Dragons, but he's also, 5 years too late by this time. And he's got it's them, so somehow he's been inspired. I knew I could trust Antiquity, so the magic, he has enough magic here to take over, pull Peter into his world, or into his imagination or something. And he's a dragon nut. That's what they call him. So Smeargle's going to a mating dance. Little adult humor there. And now he's got on tights. He's a man in tights. And there he meets Melisande, whose hair goes Crystal Gale, the blonde Crystal Gale. And the house dragon Gorbash, they get to talking. He catches Smeargle, who has Omadon has cast a spell on all the dragons, so they're going to join his side. Now we learn why dragons sleep on gold, because their body heat. And Peter uses the word hence, just like Joey. The last realm of his own personal dream. So somehow Omadon can spy on everyone. His magic is still powerful because maybe it's based on greed. The big G, the wrong G, greed. So he's like, okay, he sends Briog out to go take care of him. Oh, and look, he's got the book there. What? But he can't read it because, spoilers, sweetie. See? So he gives him the shield of Saturn and the flute of healing sleep. Melisande brings some wine or champagne, but just like in the book, Carolinus has problems with ulcers. And Peter says, use milk, which is not really the best. It'll coat your stomach and soothe the ulcer, but it won't help it heal. There's Briog. And they are falling in love. And they should listen to Gorbash because he grabs Peter and he wants one more spell. And Gorbash goes to the rescue. Kazap! And they land in the water. And Smeargle just isn't, and he's wrong. He's not wrong. The dragon is a wonderful creature. It has two furious wings upon each shoulder. But then they realize that they've merged Peter and Gorbash. So he's like, what am I going to do here? So the quest began. And again, Omadon just gets to look right over his shoulder, teach him how to breathe fire, and how it makes them, they have air sacs. So this is how the dragons fly because their wings aren't good enough. Fire, and turn your head. Dragons breathe fire. So Peter goes through all this sciencey stuff, figuring it out. Dragons breathe fire. Again, I understand why in this book it works here and in this movie. I kind of like to see this book too, The Flight of Dragons. I should get that and do a review of it. It is necessary. Seer, bad show, old chap. Now, let's see. Who is Sir Neville? That's Bob McFadden, yes. Mucking about. And Smeargle is James Gregory and Briog. So he talks about how he doesn't know that Peter's in Smeargle, or he's just finding out. This is how, we're about to see how Gorbash got adopted. Gee, many Christmas. Again, it's live TV. We'll do it live, but after this 10-minute intermission. You are watching Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Xenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program. Old bad Briog is eating the eggs, and so Sir Neville Smythe, dragon eggs. He's committing dragonicide. So he gives him a very brief moment. The thing there is called, in their mouth that produces electricity, is Thor's thimble, which ignites the fire. How they breathe fire from, I guess, methane. Now, in the book Glory Road, this is exactly how the Alisars in that book breathe fire. That's by Robert Heinlein. I highly recommend it. It is my favorite book of his. Anyway, 7 years to recuperate because he burned himself. There's baby Gorbash looking adorable. So he gives it to Melisande. And unfortunately, since Melisande has fallen in love with Peter, they're sort of rivals, but he's Sir Neville Oren Smith, sportsman and knight. So they can't fight each other, really. Sandmerks show up. This happens in the book. And we see this character who is a Rog, and I guess his name is later changed to Arg in the books. And I've read more of the books, but it's a Rog here. Subtitles call him a Rock, but it's a hard G. So they're trying to keep the Sandmerks from driving them crazy. Fortunately, Arog takes on the queen and kills her. See, dead. So there's death in here. And she's been looking in. She can see, has far sight. So she can look in. And this is the thanks. And he doesn't know why he's not, Gorbash doesn't recognize him. And there he is. Smeargle to the rescue with the big one. And this is how he got saved, because they thought he was drowned, but the blue wizard saved him. Solarius. And off they go. Walking, because they have to restore their, eat limestone in order to produce fire. And once they've expelled it all, they can't use it for a day or so. This is this is his men, Giles of the Wood Elves, and they trap him with Dragon's Bane or something. But fortunately, Sir Neville Duffs is to a man better than I, and that is not who we thought it was. That's Nellie Bellflower as Danielle o' the Wood, daughter of Sir Giles in the Robin Hood essentially of the Wood, which is why she's got archery skills like Hawkeye or the Green Arrow or Oliver, if you will, Ollie. And so they just laugh. Giles, the elfin outlaw, so he's been conscripted to go on the quest. Hell's Way. Gee, Hell's Way. I like the title. It's their last outpost between them and Omadon's region. And the Toll House on their way to Hades. The Ogre of Gormley Keep. So yeah, this is all stuff right out of the Dragon and the George. George is their name for the dragons, what dragons call humans. Innkeeper. Those are Omadon's swine. They leave. And these two get really drunk on wine. Never extend credit to a dragon, much like don't ever laugh at live dragons, right, Bilbo? And something happened. The ogre showed up. Parboiled to a fare thee well. I don't think the ogre doesn't say anything because they're stupid. So an ogre is he's given him. Schmergel has defeated an ogre in the past, so he knows how to fight him. And this is all again. Hey you, there it is. He's an ugly big spud, isn't he? And Peter just attacks him head on. You can't fight force with force. You have to sneakify on him. So fortunately, Smurgle takes over, but Omadon's coming. Does the backside maneuver, but here's what's it? 'Tis a fitting day to die. And I hope that their Stoblecore is prepared for a warrior spirit such as Smurgle. Waste and Arrow will need all they have, but slime, and it's the Worm of Sligoth, which is a snail in the book, but it's looks a little like Jimmy Durante, doesn't he? Not Durante, that's who. But he blows him up because no fire, but it's because that was sulfuric acid, which is very flammable apparently. Science 1, slug 0. And they've been bewitched into hopelessness. Fortunately, he uses the shield of Saturn to repel him. Now Briog shows up with a flight. This is where the book comes in, the Flight of Dragons. Not as good as a flight of beer, but it's pretty impressive. And he plays the flute, and they all fall asleep, including Peter. The only one who doesn't is Briog. So and he's killed everybody. Crawley, filthy, and his sword that he never fails him, kills Briog, and then he dies. So now these are the only two left, because once once Gorbash fell asleep, Peter shows up. So he is the world. He is the children. The world is Omadon. The end of the movie's good. This is good. You're invested. That's what movies should be. So he spouts off a bunch of laws. Logic and truth. I deny all magic. A mom at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Inertia. Boom! The heads fly off one at a time. Beautiful animation here. It's spectacular. It's all hand drawn. Not a CGI speck in it. He's calling them, and of course he calls a bunch of sciences, but I just included paleontology because it's the best. And he has the crown of Omadon. And Dorothy lands. Nope, it's the wizards. We are home. But Omadon, you can't kill dark magic. It's got to be there. You have to have good. You have to have the balance, the yin and the yang, the Tao of it all. And Gorbash is out, but they don't know where Peter is. He's lost to us forever. Except that he kissed her and woke her up. Well, that's right out of Disney, isn't it? So she wants to go see him. Now this sounds like he's saying you may never return, but you may never return. So she might be back. Sequel. The Dragon Knight series ran about 6 books, and I think I read 3 or 4 or 5. I still have the Dragon and the George because it's the best. See that it is. When man needs magic, we will be there. So I like that. That works. So he pawns all this, and it's solid gold. So how he got to keep the Shield of Saturn is beyond me. Melisande shows up with the Crown of Omadon, so they're set for life. This guy doesn't have enough money to pay for that. And Gorbash and Carolina fly off, and the movie ends. I think it's great. I mean, it's got some middling reviews, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I hope you did as well. And if you're leaving, you know what to do.
Adventure in the prehistoric land of the Lost Valley with Dino Boy. Adventure in the world of tomorrow with the Space Ghost. Before your eyes see the fantastic come to life. Stay tuned for Dino Boy and the Space Ghost.
All right, my fellow agents, tomorrow will be martial arts matinees. And it will be Academy Award winning Michelle Yeoh. Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh in Royal Warriors, which is one of those brutal guns and girls and gore movies. The fights are great. But be that as it may, I do love how they call him the Space Ghost in that promo. But until that next assignment, my fellow agents, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And remember, whenever mankind needs magic, it will be there. Be seeing you.
In the skies over Hong Kong, in one wild moment, 3 gutsy off-duty cops became heroes to a nation, friends for life, and the blood enemies of exactly the wrong people.